Hello friends, I'm Tim Wildsmith, and in this video we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of three King James Version long primers from R.L. Allan, the 43, the 53, and the 63. Okay, so if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you know I've been doing this long primer series where I'm taking a closer look at all of the different editions of the King James long primer from R.L. Allan. Now, the long primer is a classic typesetting from Oxford University Press that Allan has the rights to, and they print it in a bunch of different versions. I've done reviews of the 53, the 53C, the 52, the 43, the 62, and the 63. So I've done full reviews of all of those Bibles, which you can find here on my channel. But I also wanted to do some side-by-side comparisons because I know not everybody can buy one of each of these, and so you want some help maybe discovering which one you like the best, which one's going to work well for you. And that's what this is all about, is helping you find a Bible that's right for you. And I'm under the feeling, I think that everybody should own a long primer because it's just this beautiful classic version of the King James Bible. And so today I want to show you the three kind of top of the line different versions that come in Highland goatskin of the long primer. So you have up here on top the 43, which is the long primer thin line. In the middle you have the 53, which is the standard kind of flagship long primer, and then down here on the bottom we have the 63, which is the long primer sovereign. It's a wide margin version of it, slightly thicker. These are three different versions. They have some very close similarities in terms of the binding and the typesetting and things like that, but they also have some unique differences that set them apart. I love all three of these Bibles. I'm actually planning to keep one of each of these, the 43, the 53, and the 63 in my Bible library, but I do think it's good to see them side by side so you can note the differences. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to go to an overhead here and show you the differences between the 43, the 53, and the 63. Okay, here you have them side by side from left to right, the 43, the 53, and the 63. Now all of these do come in an Allan box. Here's the box for the 63, but the two-piece blue box, very, very similar. So you have the 43, which is the thin line, long primer thin line, the 53, which is kind of the standard long primer, and the 63, which is called the long primer sovereign. Now you can see from the front of these there's a slight size difference, and I'll tell you about that in a moment, but some of the similarities, these are all Highland goatskin. You can see here on the inside it says Highland goatskin everywhere. All three of these were bound by Charfleet Bookbindery in England, and they were printed by Royal Youngblood in the Netherlands. So similarities, it's going to have Highland goatskins, 43, 53, 63. Always have Highland goatskin. You have Holy Bible on the cover. You have three long ribbons on each one. The spine of each one says Holy Bible, Concordance, Allan. Holy Bible, Concordance, Allan. Holy Bible, Concordance, Allan. So there's lots of similarities on the outside. Now you'll notice over here on the 43, you get a single, it's the thin line, you get a single tooled line, perimeter tooled line, and a semi-yap. Whereas you can see here on the 53 and the 63, you get a double tooled perimeter line, tooled perimeter lines, and you get a full yap on the outside. Same thing, the 63, double line, full yap. So the thin line is going to have a little bit less yap, and then only one of the two lines. Also on the inside of the 53 and the 63, you get a double gilt line with the full yap, whereas on the 43, you only get a single gilt line inside. So that's one of the main differences as far as the binding goes on the outside and the look and the feel. The 43 is just a little bit slimmer, it's trimmer, it's kind of intended to be a thin line Bible, and so it has a little bit less yap. It only has a single line there, that sort of thing. So that's one of the main differences on the outside. And then you go with size. So I'm going to stack these up real quick and kind of show you them from the side. Again, there's the spines. They have the same wording on there. Holy Bible, Concordance, Allan. You see the 43 on top there is slightly thinner than the 53, which it's technically the same thickness, the 53 and the 63, but it's just a hair thicker on the 63 because it has slightly thicker paper. So that's side by side from the outside. Very great look and feel. I really, personally, I love the full yap look of the 53 and the 63, but the 43, if you wanted to have one on the go, you can see how that would make more sense just to be a little bit smaller. It really does shrink the size down to not have the same amount of yap as the bigger two. So opening these up, let's just start with the 53. So the 53, kind of the standard long primer look, is 36 GSM paper. It's a 10-point font. The layout of all of these Bibles is exactly the same. It's the same typesetting with the 10-point font. It's just how they do it. So on the 53, you're getting a 6-inch wide text block and 8 7/8 inches tall. So you get about a 1/2 inch margin on the outside edges here, and then on the bottom there. So 6 by 8 7/8, 38 7/8. 36 GSM paper, 1/2 inch margins. When you go to the thin line, now they say on their website that this is the same size text block, that it's 6 by 8 7/8. I measured this, and it's actually 5 7/8 inch. So it's an 1/8 of an inch smaller, and that equates on my measurements to my 43 versus my 53, an 1/8 inch smaller on the margins. So this has 3/8 inch margins versus 1/2 inch margins. It's the same at the bottom, but here on the outside, it's slightly thinner. And then this, you can see, the typesetting is the same. It's that 10-point type, but this is a 28 GSM paper on the 43. So that's why it's thinner. It is only 1 3/8 inch thick, where this is 1 3/4 inch thick. So that's going to be one of your main differences between the 43 and the 53, is that it's a lot thinner. But then when I hold that up there, you can tell the one on the left is slightly less opaque than the one on the right. That's the difference between the 28 GSM paper on the left and the 36 GSM paper on the right. But it's not crazy. So you're getting a significantly thinner Bible when you compare the 43 to the 53, but you're not losing a lot when it comes to opacity on the paper. One of the biggest things that you're just going to notice is, like I said, there's slightly less margin space. So for me, this one on the right, the 53, it has a little bit more room to breathe than the 43. Now, I'm going to move those over so I can show you the 63. Now the 63, essentially, look at that. You get a full inch. So you're bumping from 1/2 inch to full inch margins on the outside and the bottom. Again, same typesetting. It's the same 10-point type. There's nothing, the size of the lettering in here is exactly the same on all these. But where these are 6 inches wide and 8 7/8, slightly under 6 inches wide on the 43. This guy is 6 1/2 inches wide. So you're basically getting an extra 1/2 inch there on the margins. And then it's 9 1/4 inches tall to give you more margin space at the top. It's basically a wide margin long primer, giving you this extra space, keeping the typesetting the same. And then it has slightly thicker paper than the 36 GSM of the 53. It has 38 GSM. So it's not a whole lot thicker than the 53. It's just larger width and height, and it gives you more room to write on there. So you compare the margin space, 3/8 of an inch thick, 1/2 inch thick, 1 inch thick on the margin space. And then this one, it's a writable paper, whereas these are called semi-writable. When I touch these, there's like a little bit of a glossiness, a sleek smoothness to them, whereas the 63 has a little bit more texture. And so it's designed for you to be able to write in it. So I recommend people looking at the 63 if they know they're going to be writing in the margins of their Bible. But also, when I just open this up, look at how it just kind of breathes a little bit because there's more space for the text versus the 43 and the 53. Let's see if I can push these up here. So there's 53 on the top left, 63 over here, and then 43, it just kind of scrunches it in a little bit. So you're getting more room all the way around. Here, I'll try it this way. We'll go over the top and over the top and bring these back down. So there you have, that's kind of what it looks like, full page on the right side of the page. 3/8 of an inch margin, 1/2 inch margin, 1 inch margin, a little bit more space everywhere you go. 28 GSM paper, 36 GSM paper, 38 GSM paper. So that's the inside differences. Same 10-point typesetting, just a little bit more room to breathe as you go from 43 to 53 to 63, and significantly thicker paper here, but again, not bad ghosting on the 43, and then a writable 38 GSM paper on the 63. So that's going to be the interior thing. One thing people often ask about is that typesetting. So it's the same 10-point type all the way throughout. The long primer typesetting does not change. It's just the thickness of the paper the size of the paper, and then on the outside, that full yap versus not full yap, double gilt line, not double gilt line. That's your main differences between these Bibles, 43, 53, 63. All of them have Highland goatskin. All of them are printed by Royal Youngblood and currently being bound by Charfleet Bookbindery in England. They all have the same concordance. They have the same lined paper in the back. They have the same set of maps, all of that stuff. It's all consistent. It's just slight differences between the 43, the 53, and the 63. So there you have it, a little side-by-side comparison of 3 of the best long primers available, the 43, 53, and 63. Now that you've watched this video, I would love to know which one of these you like the best and why. So leave a comment and let me know which one, if you could only choose one of these, which one you would get and why. You can definitely find links in the description of this video to where you can purchase one of these. You can also find a link in the description to BibleReviewBlog.com where I'll have some more details about these long primers. And while you're here on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I have a whole playlist of long primer videos that you can check out. I have lots of different reviews of tons of different Bibles, so definitely surf around on the channel and check that out. And find us on Instagram and Facebook as well. We've got a great community out there on social media. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.